The door clicks shut. You hear the lock turn, your footsteps fade down the hallway, and then the silence. To you, this is just the start of your workday, a commute, or a quick trip to the store. But for the creature standing on the other side of that door, the world has just undergone a violent structural shift. Most owners believe that once they leave, their dog simply sighs and goes to find a comfortable spot to nap. We tell ourselves they're fine, that they understand we'll be back in 8 hours. But watch the hidden cameras. For the first 10 minutes, many dogs don't move. They stand frozen at the threshold, staring at the wood of the door as if they could melt it with their gaze. This isn't just waiting. This is the threshold phase. In the wild, a pack member leaving alone is a high-risk event. In your dog's deep evolutionary brain, your departure isn't a social choice, it's a biological tear. When you vanish, their primary source of sensory feedback vanishes with you. Their heart rate doesn't drop, it spikes. Scientists have measured a sharp rise in cortisol levels the moment the door closes. It's the same chemical signature as a panic response. They aren't relaxing into the house. They are mourning the sudden loss of their reference point. To a dog, you aren't just a person who feeds them. You are their system regulator. Without you, their internal compass starts spinning wildly in the void. But here's the part most people miss. This initial frozen state is the dog's attempt to hold on to the last echo of your presence. They are listening to the rhythm of your car engine or the jingle of your keys as they move further away. As long as they can hear you, the bond is still physically stretched, but not broken. And then the sound disappears completely. This is the first breaking point. Does your dog wait by the door, or do they immediately head to your bed? The answer reveals exactly how they process your absence. But the silence that follows isn't just empty, it's active. And this is where the search for your ghost begins. The sounds have faded. The physical connection to you is now severed. For many dogs, this is the trigger for phase 2, a behavioral pattern that looks like idle pacing, but is actually a deep, instinctual rescue mission. They begin to construct a scent map. Your dog now enters a reality you cannot perceive. Their nose, possessed of 300 million olfactory receptors, can sense parts per trillion. To them, the static air of your living room is a swirling, textured history book. They know exactly how long you've been gone by how much your unique scent signature has decayed in the room's air. They aren't walking around. They are tracking you back to life. Most people see their dog nudging a shoe or lying in the pile of dirty laundry and think, oh, they just like my smell. But this is not an emotional quirk. This is the oxytocin loop. Your scent has the power to chemically alter your dog's nervous system. Inhaling a concentrated source of you releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in their brain, which directly inhibits the cortisol, stress, that spiked when the door clicked shut. They aren't just smelling you. They are microdosing you. They are using your genetic residue to chemically regulate their escalating panic. But here is where the deeper, more melancholic truth emerges. Scent is a finite resource. A piece of worn clothing is not you. It is a memory of you that is slowly evaporating. When a dog destroys your sneaker, or digs at your spot on the couch, they aren't being bad. Most owners miss this. They are trying to activate the scent. They rip the material to release the pockets of air trapped deep within the fibers, desperately trying to summon your ghost back into the room. If this scent begins to fade too much before you return, their map fails. The ghost disappears, and then the brain takes over. When the scent map begins to fade and the house falls into a heavy, static silence, the dog's brain reaches a critical realization. You are not coming back right now. To survive the hours of void, the dog enters phase 3, the dissociative rest. You see them on your pet cam, curled in a tight ball on the rug, seemingly peaceful. You think they're just lazy, or they're finally relaxing. But this is not the relaxed, restorative sleep a dog gets when you are home. This is a survival mechanism. In the wild, an isolated pack animal cannot afford to be hypervigilant for 12 hours straight. The nervous system would burn out. To protect itself, the dog's brain enters a state of defensive inhibition. They aren't sleeping because they are tired. They are sleeping because they are clock watching with their entire biology. Every tiny sound, a neighbor's car, a bird on the sill, the elevator down the hall, sends a micro jolt through their system. Their ears twitch, their heart rate skips. They are in a state of suspended animation, waiting for the one specific frequency that means the world is right again. But here is the deeper layer. For a dog, time is not linear, it is emotional. Without your presence to anchor the day into walk time, playtime, and rest time, the minutes stretch into a gray, featureless ocean. They are essentially time traveling through sleep, trying to jump over the gap of your absence. But what if the sleep is broken? What if the wait becomes too long? This is where the quietude turns into a storm. Does your dog sleep by the door or in a dark corner? The location of their escape tells you how safe they feel in the silence you left behind. For most dogs, the sleep holds. But for some, the silence doesn't stay quiet. It becomes a physical weight. This is phase 4, the breaking point. You've seen the videos. The shredded pillows. The claw marks on the door frame. The neighbor's text saying your dog has been howling for 3 hours. Most people look at this and see a naughty dog or a lack of discipline. They think he's just bored. But this isn't boredom. This is adrenal flooding. When the dog's safe base, you, is gone for too long, their amygdala, the brain's fire alarm, enters a state of hyperarousal. Without your scent to soothe them or your voice to regulate their nervous system, the dog's biology concludes you aren't just gone. It concludes you are lost. The howling, that's not a complaint. In the wild, it's a long-distance beacon. They are throwing their voice into the void, desperately trying to provide a lighthouse for you to find your way home. When they chew the door frame, they aren't destroying your house. They are trying to physically remove the barrier that stands between them and their survival source. If this behavior suddenly disappears in a dog who used to do it, don't celebrate yet. Sometimes that's not getting used to it. That's learned helplessness. The dog hasn't become calm, they have simply given up on the hope of a response. They have shut down because the stress became too heavy to carry. What looks like a quiet dog may actually be a dog in a state of emotional collapse. Does your dog still greet you with the same intensity, or have they become strangely polite? This distinction is the difference between peace and despair. But there is a light at the end of this tunnel. Because even in the deepest silence, they are listening for one specific, impossible to fake sound. Then it happens. The specific hum of your car's engine. The heavy metallic click of the gate. Before you've even touched the handle, the gray, frozen world of your dog undergoes a violent, colorful resurrection. This is the final phase, the reunion explosion. To you, it's just 6 p.m. To them, the sun has just been reignited. When you open the door and your dog loses their mind, spinning, jumping, whining as if they haven't seen you in decades, it's not overexcitement. It's sensory validation. Most owners think the dog is just happy to see them, but look closer. They are licking your face, your hands, your clothes. They aren't just kissing you. They are conducting a frantic biological audit. By tasting and smelling you the moment you return, they are checking where you've been, if you're hurt, and most importantly, if you are still you. They are clearing the cortisol of the last 8 hours with a massive, life-saving surge of oxytocin. This chemical flood is so intense it's comparable to the bond between a mother and a newborn. In this moment, your dog's nervous system is being reset. But this is the part that changes everything. This entire cycle, the anxiety, the scent hunting, the dissociative sleep, was never about your house, your furniture, or the walk you're about to take. It was about their safe anchor. For a dog, home isn't a place. It isn't 4 walls and a roof. For a dog, you are the home. When you leave, they aren't staying at home, they are displaced. They are refugees in a familiar landscape, waiting for their world to return so they can finally breathe again. So the next time you look at the camera and see them sleeping by the door, or you come home to a shredded shoe, don't see a pet or a problem. See a soul that defines its entire existence by your presence. Because for them, life doesn't happen while you're gone. It only begins when you walk back through that door.